In the pulsating heart of ancient Egypt, an epic rivalry transcends the sands of time, unfolding in a saga that shaped gods and men. Horus and Seth, two divine powers in conflict, whose struggle is not merely a mythological battle, but a reflection of the political, social, and religious tensions simmering within that ancient civilization. This video delves into the depths of this immortal narrative, revealing how the dispute between the god of the sky and the lord of chaos influenced everything from the coronation of pharaohs to the most sacred rituals. But what can this millennia-old story teach us about power, justice, and balance in the modern world? Watching this video is to embark on a journey through time where the lines between myth and reality intertwine, offering unique insights into human nature and the eternal conflict between order and chaos. Discover how these ancient themes resonate in our lives today, influencing everything from our personal struggles to power dynamics in society. Have you ever felt like you were in the midst of a battle between opposing forces, seeking harmony amidst chaos? Then, prepare to find millennia-old answers that resonate with surprising relevance. Don't miss the chance to unravel the mysteries of one of the greatest legends of ancient Egypt and, who knows, perhaps discover a little more about yourself in the process. Egyptian mythology, with its gods and legends, has always fascinated humanity, serving as a window into the complex and enigmatic past of one of the world's oldest civilizations. Among its numerous narratives, the rivalry between Horus and Seth stands out not only as a tale of conflict and reconciliation, but also as a reflection of the political, social, and religious dynamics of ancient Egypt. This dispute between the sky god, Horus, and the god of chaos, Seth, symbolizes the eternal struggle between order and disorder, good and evil, directly influencing the legitimization of pharaonic power and the stability of the state. This myth not only outlines the moral and cosmogonic order for the ancient Egyptians, but also highlights the importance of harmony and balance, essential for the maintenance of Mot, the concept of truth, justice, and universal order. However, as we delve into the depths of this ancient rivalry, we are led to question, what is the relevance of these ancient myths to us today? The answer lies in the ability of these narratives to transcend their historical and cultural context, offering insights into universal human dilemmas and the relentless pursuit of balance between opposing forces. Reflecting on the story of Horus and Seth, we are invited to consider how notions of power, justice, and conflict resolution evolve and adapt over time, still resonating in our contemporary lives and societies. Therefore, understanding Egyptian mythology and, in particular, the rivalry between Horus and Seth, is to embark on a journey that goes beyond mere fascination with the ancient world. It is to explore how fundamental questions of existence and social organization are intricately connected throughout human history. This dive into the past not only enriches our knowledge about ancient Egypt, but also challenges us to reflect on our own values, beliefs, and how we deal with the conflicts of modern life. Thus, Egyptian mythology remains a valuable source of wisdom and understanding, inspiring generations to contemplate the eternal questions of humanity. Ancient Egyptians believed in a pantheon of gods who governed all aspects of life and death, directly influencing social and political order. Religion was inseparable from daily life, with practices and rituals aimed at ensuring harmony between the realm of the living and the beyond. This harmony was seen as essential for the maintenance of Mot, or cosmic order, which was responsible for the fertility of the land, the regularity of the Nile floods, and the success of rulers. Within this pantheon, two figures stood out for their intense rivalry, Horus and Seth. Horus, often depicted as a falcon or as a man with the head of a falcon, was the god of the sky, royalty, and protection. He symbolized order, light, and goodness, serving as the protector of Egypt's rulers and personifying the legitimacy of pharaonic power. On the other hand, Seth, who could be portrayed as a mystical animal combining characteristics of various animals, or as a man with the head of this unidentified animal, was the god of chaos, storms, disorder, and war. Although Seth was also revered as an important protector, especially in battles, his figure was often associated with violence and the destructive aspect of nature. The rivalry between Horus and Seth is one of the central myths of ancient Egypt, reflecting not only religious and mythological conflicts but also real political and social tensions of the time. According to the myth, after the murder of Osiris, Horus' father, by Seth, a series of disputes and battles were fought between Horus and Seth for the right to the throne of Egypt. These mythological battles symbolized the struggle between order and chaos, justice and injustice, directly influencing political ideology and the legitimacy of rulers in ancient Egypt. The rivalry between Horus and Seth was not merely a narrative of conflict. It also played a crucial role in the religious practices and worldview of the ancient Egyptians. This story was told and retold through religious texts, rituals, and artistic representations, reaffirming the importance of maintaining cosmic order and balance between opposing forces. The resolution of this conflict, with Horus's final victory and the subsequent unification of Egypt, was celebrated as a pivotal moment in Egyptian history and mythology, symbolizing the restoration of harmony and justice. Ultimately, the representations of Horus and Seth in the Egyptian pantheon reflect the complexity of the worldview and religious beliefs of ancient Egypt. Through these deities and their stories, the ancient Egyptians explored themes such as duality, balance, conflict, and reconciliation, which were central to their understanding of the universe and society. This mythology, rich in symbolism and meaning, continues to fascinate and offer insights into one of the most enigmatic and influential civilizations in human history. The rivalry between Horus and Seth is one of the most fascinating and complex narratives of Egyptian mythology, reflecting not only divine conflicts but also fundamental principles of order, chaos, and the continuity of life and power in ancient Egypt. The origin of this dispute dates back to the murder of Osiris, the god of resurrection and the afterlife, by his brother Seth, the god of chaos, storms, and desert. This heinous act triggered a series of events that led to the contention between Horus, Osiris's son, determined to avenge his father's death and reclaim his rightful throne, and Seth, whose ambition was to permanently usurp supreme power over Egypt. Horus, the falcon god, symbolizes order, light, and the legitimate lineage of kings, representing the protector of the pharaohs and the unification of Egypt. His motivation to combat Seth stems not only from the desire for revenge for his father's death but also from a deep commitment to restore Mot, or cosmic and social order, which Seth had disturbed. Horus is often portrayed as the ideal sovereign whose reign brings prosperity and stability to the kingdom. On the other hand, Seth represents antagonistic aspects in the Egyptian cosmos. As the god of storms, disorder, and violence, Seth is essential for the balance of the world, but his ambition for power and his disruptive nature place him in direct opposition to Horus and the principles of Mot. Seth's motivation in the dispute reflects his desire to subvert the established order and redefine the power structure in his favor, thus challenging the legitimacy and authority of Horus. The battle between Horus and Seth is not just a struggle for power but a representation of the eternal battle between order and chaos, good and evil, renewal and destruction. The ancient Egyptians viewed this dispute as fundamental to maintaining the balance of the universe and society. The myths describe a series of direct confrontations and legal challenges between the two gods, each demonstrating their strength, cunning, and right to the throne of Egypt. At the heart of this narrative lies the complexity of divine and human relationships, reflecting Egyptian beliefs in justice, the legitimacy of power, and the importance of lineage. The resolution of the dispute, with Horus eventually emerging victorious, not only symbolizes the restoration of order but also reaffirms the belief in the continuity and legitimacy of royal lineage, with pharaohs being seen as earthly incarnations of Horus, thus perpetuating the connection between the divine and the monarchic. Therefore, this mythology goes beyond a simple rivalry, offering insights into the worldviews, ethics, and politics of ancient Egypt. The dispute between Horus and Seth is a powerful reminder of the tensions between order and chaos, justice and tyranny, and the role of the leader as guardian of harmony in the universe. By exploring these dimensions, we delve not only into Egypt's rich mythological tapestry but also into its conceptions of power, legitimacy, and social order. The mythical rivalry between Horus and Seth serves as an allegorical representation of the political tensions that permeated ancient Egypt, especially concerning the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. Horus, associated with Lower Egypt, and Seth, with Upper Egypt, embodied the power struggles and the fight for territorial hegemony. This mythological narrative not only reflects the reality of political fragmentation in ancient Egypt, but also its eventual unification under the figure of a pharaoh considered the earthly incarnation of Horus. This aspect of the story of Horus and Seth underscores the importance of divine legitimacy in the exercise of political power, suggesting that order and stability were seen as directly linked to the approval and support of the gods. The dispute between Horus and Seth also had a significant impact on the social and religious practices of ancient Egypt. The narrative of this rivalry was incorporated into various rituals and festivals, serving as a means to reaffirm social order and harmony within society. These events were not just celebrations, they were symbolic acts of world order reconstitution, reflecting Horus's victory over Seth. Through these practices, the Egyptians expressed their worldview and reaffirmed the values that underpin their society, such as justice, order, and the continuity of life. In the religious sphere, the struggle between Horus and Seth is emblematic of the duality between order and chaos, a recurring theme in many spiritual traditions. Horus represents order, stability, and regeneration, while Seth symbolizes chaos, destruction, and disorder. This dichotomy is not just a matter of good versus evil, it is an expression of the need for balance between opposing forces to maintain harmony in the universe. Thus, the struggle between Horus and Seth is more than a personal conflict. It is a fundamental principle of the Egyptian worldview, reflecting the belief that life is an endless battle to maintain balance and order against the forces of chaos. Furthermore, the battle between Horus and Seth holds profound spiritual implications for the ancient Egyptians. They believed that this mythological struggle had a direct impact on their daily lives and their fate after death. The judgment of Osiris, where the deceased's heart is weighed against the feather of truth, is a direct reflection of this dispute, where the order and justice of Horus must prevail for the soul to achieve immortality. This belief underscores the importance of morality and ethics in the lives of the Egyptians, reinforcing the idea that cosmic balance and divine justice are essential for the salvation of the soul. The rivalry between Horus and Seth is one of the most fascinating and profound mythological narratives of ancient Egypt, representing not only the clash between good and evil but also symbolizing the relentless struggle between order and chaos. According to ancient texts, the dispute began after Seth murdered Osiris, Horus's father, to usurp the Egyptian throne. Horus, desiring to avenge his father's death and reclaim his legitimate right to the throne, challenges Seth, initiating a series of conflicts and divine judgments. The Egyptian gods, seeking to restore harmony, organize various competitions and trials to determine the rightful ruler, events marked by deceit, divine judgments, and magical interventions. The mythical battles between Horus and Seth are vividly described in sacred texts and temple inscriptions, involving direct confrontations and tests of cunning and strength. In one of the most well-known stories, Seth transforms into a giant hippopotamus with the intention of defeating Horus but is ultimately overcome. Another account details how Horus managed to overcome Seth's tricks, including an occasion where Seth attempts to dishonor Horus but is outwitted by the wisdom and justice of the gods. These narratives not only entertain but also serve to convey lessons of morality, justice, and the importance of cosmic balance. The resolution of the conflict, according to mythology, occurs when Osiris is revived in the underworld, becoming the judge of the afterlife, while Horus is recognized as the rightful ruler of the world of the living. This conclusion symbolizes the restoration of order, with Horus representing divine justice and the renewal of life, while Seth comes to symbolize the necessary but controlled aspect of chaos in the universe. The duality between Horus and Seth reflects the Egyptian understanding that life and order need to be constantly defended against the forces of chaos and disorder. For the Egyptian pantheon, the rivalry between Horus and Seth represents one of the fundamental pillars of Egyptian religion and cosmology. Horus's final victory over Seth not only symbolizes the triumph of good over evil but also reaffirms the belief in divine justice and the legitimization of royal power. The pharaohs of ancient Egypt, considered earthly incarnations of Horus, were seen as protectors of order and harmony, tasked with maintaining the balance between the human and divine worlds. The influence of the rivalry between Horus and Seth extends beyond the religious realm, penetrating into the political and social spheres of ancient Egypt. Pharaohs used the image of Horus defeating Seth to symbolize their own legitimacy and their role as upholders of order and justice. This mythological narrative not only legitimized the power of the pharaohs but also reinforced the idea that fair and wise leadership was essential for the prosperity and stability of the kingdom. Thus, the dispute between Horus and Seth transcended the mythical, becoming a central element in the ideology of the Egyptian state, influencing politics, society, and religion for millennia. The mythological rivalry between Horus and Seth, two of the most prominent deities of ancient Egypt, is not just a narrative of conflict between good and evil, but also a rich source of inspiration for modern culture, literature, art, and spirituality. The story of these gods, intertwining themes of power struggle, justice, and reconciliation, echoes to this day, influencing not only mythology scholars but also artists, writers, and practitioners of various spiritual traditions. The duality between order and chaos, represented by Horus, the god of the sky, and Seth, the god of chaos and disorder, resonates in many contemporary narratives, reflecting humanity's perennial internal and external struggles. In modern literature, The saga of Horus and Seth inspires stories that explore the complexity of family relationships and power dynamics. Writers often appropriate these mythological themes to discuss current issues such as generational conflict, the pursuit of justice, and the value of reconciliation. These universal themes find new life in narratives that, while set in different contexts, mirror the same ethical and moral concerns that guided ancient Egypt. The ability of such stories to speak to themes of betrayal, redemption, and the quest for balance highlights the timelessness and ongoing relevance of Egyptian mythology. In art, the influence of Horus and Seth is seen in the representation of images symbolizing duality and balance. Artists from various eras have portrayed the battle between these two gods as a reflection of the internal struggles we all face, between our noblest aspects and our destructive tendencies. These works not only reimagine the ancient narrative in new contexts but also offer viewers a lens through which they can contemplate their own conflicts and aspirations. When it comes to spirituality, the story of Horus and Seth particularly resonates in the modern quest for meaning and harmony amidst the chaos of everyday life. Spiritual and philosophical practices often draw inspiration from this mythology to teach about the importance of justice, balance, and reconciliation in our lives. Whether in rituals seeking to harmonize opposites or in meditation on the dual nature of existence, the story of these gods offers a powerful paradigm for personal and collective transformation. From the tale of Horus and Seth, we can glean important lessons about conflict, justice, and reconciliation. The narrative not only teaches us about the inevitability of conflict, whether on a personal or societal scale, but also about the possibility of resolution and balance. It reminds us that justice can be achieved, but often requires wisdom, patience, and the ability to forgive and seek reconciliation. In a world still marked by divisions and disputes, the ancient rivalry between Horus and Seth continues to offer fertile ground for reflection on how we can overcome our own internal and external struggles in pursuit of a more balanced and harmonious world. Egyptian mythology, rich in symbolism and profound stories, offers a mirror to the human condition that transcends time and space. The narrative of the rivalry between Horus and Seth is a classic example of this transcendence, addressing universal themes of justice, power, and balance. In the context of this ancient conflict, we can observe not only the struggle for the throne of Egypt but also a broader reflection on the nature of conflict and resolution. The story of Horus and Seth resonates in our contemporary society, where issues of power and justice remain pressing. The pursuit of balance between opposing forces is a constant task, whether in political, social, or personal realms. Just as Horus and Seth contested leadership and order, today we face similar challenges in our quest for a fair and balanced society. The dynamic between Horus and Seth also offers a rich source of analogies for contemporary challenges. Just as Seth represents chaos and destruction, his actions can be seen as metaphors for disruptive forces in today's society, such as corruption, authoritarianism, and social injustice. On the other hand, Horus, symbol of order and justice, reflects the continuous pursuit of equity and harmony. This mythological narrative reminds us that the struggle between these forces is perpetual and that the quest for justice is an ongoing process requiring vigilance and commitment. Furthermore, the rivalry between Horus and Seth highlights the importance of balance between opposites. In mythology, the resolution of the conflict comes through a divine judgment, suggesting that justice is achieved not by the supremacy of one force over the other, but by recognizing the validity and necessity of both. This concept is extremely relevant in a world where extreme polarizations threaten social fabric, reminding us of the need to find a middle ground where different views can coexist productively. The story of Horus and Seth also invites us to reflect on our own personal journey in search of justice and balance. Each individual faces their own internal and external battles, dealing with personal conflicts that reflect, on a smaller scale, the great mythological disputes. How can we apply the lessons of this ancient narrative to resolve our own conflicts? The answer to this question challenges us to look within ourselves, evaluating our own tendencies toward chaos and order. Finally, when contemplating the rivalry between Horus and Seth, it is essential to question how we can apply the lessons learned from this ancient story to the contemporary challenges we face. How can we work to achieve a balance between justice and power in our society? In what ways can we confront our own internal and external battles in a manner that contributes to the greater good? These final questions not only promote deep reflection on the universal themes of Egyptian mythology but also encourage us to actively seek solutions to current problems inspired by ancestral wisdom.